What's good, everybody? This is Y and Z, a conversation between the generations. Generations Y, aka the Millennials, and Generation Z. I represent the Y, J Clark 787. My young blood companion over there is they no longer the babies, but they still young and special. Gen Z, Xavier Lewis over there. How are you living this week, sir?
Hey man, I'm feeling amazing. One step closer to the most wonderful time of the year. You know,
Football season. Yes, it is.
no,
Week
no,
one. We kick it
no,
off. How about them
no,
Cowboys? It's a
no.
beautiful football tonight,
September
football all
1st,
weekend. Yes, yes, good
September
times.
1st hit, and I had on my Christmas socks.
Shut
It
up.
is the simplest, most wonderful time of the year. I mean, who doesn't love a good Christmas movie? Nothing against you, October people. Nothing against you, Halloween people, or, Thanksgiving doesn't really have movies. But Christmas, it's the most wonderful time of the year, the best cinema you'll ever watch, the best food you'll ever taste. It happens during Christmas and December.
Okay,
Fight your bald headed mama if you want to argue with me.
number one, we know you've been playing Christmas music since July, so
This is
hush,
correct.
hush up, sir. Number two, you're not going to disrespect the best season there is, which is the fall. Fall is top season, point blank, period.
This is okay. This is not even our topic for the day, but let me just argue right quick. People in the South don't get fall.
I mean, we
Fall
don't.
is for the Midwest.
Fall is for the Midwest and the Northeast, and I'm missing it right now down here in Texas.
I'm
Um,
so sad that as the years have progressed, it just becomes summer, winter.
yeah,
Like fall is just becoming
fall
like the
doesn't
middle
exist.
class.
Yeah, but it is the best season. I mean,
Oh, definitely the best season. I will say,
okay, good. I don't want to smack you up the head beside,
nah, it's just not, it's just a season that isn't as prevalent in the places I've lived. But is it the best season? Definitely.
and it's also the best time of year because I'll give you this. Christmas is a special time, but I think outside of the fall being September, late September, whenever it officially hits, whatever that date,
Right,
people
right.
are like it's still summer, whatever. September, October, November, fall. Your weather is better unless you're in the South, but
Correct.
it's still not Hades hot in the South here. At least you got school going back, which as a parent is a blessing. And then homecoming season. You
Beautiful.
have
Beautiful time.
Thanksgiving. How like it is and it's the ramp up into like I think that whole
Right.
there are things to enjoy during it. It's a perfect time of year, and then the ramp up into Christmas at the end. Like it's to, like and this is as a summer baby. Fall is just it doesn't get any better than that all around. You're talking fairs, festivals,
Yeah, I'm a big fair
football,
festival person.
you know.
And it just adds it better because even like when you do go to the fairs and festivals, don't get me wrong, I do like fairs or festivals centered around Christmas, but God does it be cold outside.
They're two different things, two different types of environments to an extent.
But when you do a fair festival during fall, perfect weather the whole day. That's
Uh-huh.
like flannel weather, a pair of jeans. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
It's
yeah,
good for
yeah.
a date. It's good for a family outing.
Cuffing
It's
season.
good all
Fall,
around.
fall has cuffing season. Fall has
Almost, it's written all around it.
fall has rainy nights with the leaves on the ground made for the quiet storm.
I ain't got to worry about Quisha and them bumping Sexy Red in the fall,
No, they still gonna
popping
bump.
out at red lights.
They still gonna bump that sexy red, but it
I mean, they are, but hot girl summer, it comes to an end. Hot guy summer, whatever. It comes to an end, and we get into some real authentic, sensible people in the fall.
hearty eating. You get some good hearty foods. That slow cooker, that pot roast. October with every sport being played at the same damn time is
Oh,
amazing.
okay,
Uh,
I know we got to get into our topic, but watch this. What do you prefer better though? Do you prefer like a barbecue or do you prefer like a fall style of meal with a bunch of people? I don't know what you would call that. Like
see,
a
number one, I'm gonna turn this being down here in Texas thing around real quick. Both go together. Like
You are
barbecue,
not barbecuing in well, no, you are. You
we
are.
barbecue year
This
round.
yeah, this that's a
So
you
there's
know, you
exclusive.
really still can do both no matter
Yeah,
what time of the year it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Neither,
You can
neither.
light up that grill at
Oh,
any
oh, you seen it on the gram? You've seen it on the gram. I will.
Clark be lighting that grill up, y'all. Y'all need to follow Clark on Instagram. The
Like
dude be lighting it up.
follow us, J Clark 787, the Real Lewis brand, YZ the Divide. Like, share, subscribe. But as my young blood said, let's go ahead and get into this topic for this week. And speaking of fall, traditionally, back when I was being raised, back when I was coming up,
I mean, I got a piece of that too, but yeah, you know.
you got a little taste. You got a little taste. Fall represented, especially like right now, this time of year. Fall represented your favorite TV shows coming back. The fall the premiere season, your sitcoms, your Thursday night, whatever you wanted to watch, sometime in the month of September. Besides, maybe if your show was on Fox or CBS,
Right.
on the time of year, because sometimes some things would have late, like the animation block on Sunday nights on Fox gets pushed back a little bit because you got the football being played. But anyways,
Right. Right.
we want to talk about how streaming has essentially killed television. It's murdered it, like to where nobody knows what's good anymore, really. And things just don't get the chance to become that good old home cooked meal for your entertainment soul like they used to be.
So let's I think the best well the way in my mind that I'm gonna attack this is like a backtrack, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
growing up for the most part, I mean before I was around, um you had just cable television, which could be about two or three channels. And if you wanted
Wait,
the
huh?
other channels, you had to purchase the other channels.
Okay.
You know, you had your major networks or whatever, and then you had things like Dish, Direct TV.
Well, those were the companies giving you your package for cable, which was cable was the way of life back in the day. Yes.
Right. So the more you grew, but then you also had, like, let's just say you didn't have Dish or Direct, and you just had a basic package with some smaller company in your hometown, you still wouldn't necessarily get the major channels. You probably got a good smooth 10 to 15, maybe 28. I'll give it like
Sure,
that.
you
I
you
remember
you
because
are
I remember
sure.
at some point in my life, we didn't have like Dish or Direct, and we had about 30 channels.
Sir. There's been a lot of cable companies. Like the
Right,
the particular company didn't matter because you had TiVo, you had like you had all these companies, and for the most part, you were getting a package, regardless of who you were getting. About 80 to 120 channels was the cable explosion during the 90s. You were
right,
getting
right. Okay, okay,
because the argument used to be there was too many channels,
right.
and that was with cable. Now
So,
it's just too much, period, and it's even worse.
right, because now what we're looking at is so then you have Blockbuster. And then you had Netflix at first, which was like Blockbuster, but you had it delivered to you.
Blockbuster don't count.
But okay, but I'm trying to build up to like where did the idea of streaming come from? Would you say that the idea of streaming came from YouTube more than anything
No,
else?
no, the idea is okay. So essentially, the problem was the history, let's educate you, is short version. TV came along, in the 50s, started to develop throughout the 60s, but you had your couple channels, your old school dial, maybe nine channels, or whatever it was be, but you had your three major networks, NBC, CBS, and ABC, and then
Right,
maybe a couple, and then of course you have the explosion in the late 70s and 80s as cable develops, you start to get more. And so the explosion really happens in the 90s. Like I said, your cable package was anywhere between 80 to 120 channels.
right,
Then you continue to develop into the 2000s, and people don't want to pay for cable. People are like, "There's too many channels. I don't watch all these channels. Don't need all these channels. I'd rather be able to watch what I want when I want to." Because also when you had in the 90s and whatnot, 90s we were recording things on VHS back in the day off the TV because
Right, right.
you had things came on as they aired. It wasn't on demand. So on demand back in the day was, okay, I can record this if I'm not home. I can set my timer, and that way I have it on VHS and I can watch it whenever, but that recorded everything. You then, as you got into the later 90s, you had your on demand and TiVo things start to kind of come into place, which then allowed you to record to your actual box. You didn't need the VHS. You could fast forward through the commercials just like on VHS. Sometimes it would do it automatically, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, now come to the 2000s, you get to this point where it's like, okay, I don't want to watch all these channels, or I don't think I need all these channels. I don't want ads, yada, yada, yada. Netflix comes along as the big first person based off a Blockbuster format originally of, being able to rent stuff and then becoming this digital platform where now I can go on and watch
What I want when
what
I
I
want
want,
to watch
when
it,
I
no
want.
ads.
And everybody's been Netflix blew up. We all know Netflix blew up. And since then, everybody has been trying to copy as we deconstruct this thing where now it's okay, you don't need cable. I can buy my subscription to Netflix, Paramount Plus, Max, Hulu, whatever you want to call it, Disney Plus. But the problem
This
is
is the issue, though.
the price is coming up to the same thing as cable. And we're at but we have too much stuff to watch. You don't know what is good.
And not even that. It's almost like they were like, we want streaming. From now, they offer bundled streaming packages. And I'm in my head like, is this not just cable television?
It,
You talk about you get Disney Plus, ESPN, and Hulu all together. That's 3 channels.
it's actually worse than cable. Because here's the problem. Here's where it's really making an effect. It's not the way we have to go about it or what we have available. The problem is as we see being happening on Netflix a lot of the time, is one, now we're getting shorter seasons that take forever to create, produce, and get to air. Like you watch, like I said, the trend used to be September, October, my show comes on. That thing is
Last for
on
months.
week after week until Mayish.
Until that's what I'm saying. At least 20, 30.
No,
Especially,
not that high. Generally 20 to 24 episodes.
oh
Maybe
no, NCIS. I didn't seen some 30 episode seasons.
okay, well, it depends because generally some shows would take that holiday break around Christmas time,
Right,
maybe
right,
another mid-season break. So it can go up. Very few go up to 30, but strongly, your most range was 18 to 24,
right.
and every show was doing this. But now it's Netflix is giving you a show. Oh, and then 3 months later, after it went off in June or May, season, unless it got canceled, the next season was coming back the next fall. So you knew to look forward to it. Now it's you getting the 10 episode, 8 episode season once a year. And then we all know now Netflix is quick to be like, oh, season 2, you gone. Season 3, you gone. And so you're not getting as deep in some of this stuff as you want. And then, like I said, part of the problem is there's too much stuff out there. We don't know what's good because you're watching what is coming on your feed, what is being tailored for you, which is different than me versus us coming together for this mainstream product on, what we used to call TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, Comedy Thursdays on NBC. Like television used to have a personality.
Do you think that some of these streaming services made mistakes when they started making streaming service originals?
Well, that's the nature. That's the nature of the game. Like I said, Netflix came in, took off, and was starting to produce all this stuff, and it's the new wave. And Netflix is killing, as we know with the numbers. Netflix is killing the game, and so everybody's trying to play catch up. And it's kind of in correlation with, once again, y'all's way of living life through digital media in this social age. Everything being tailored to you, from every piece of content you interact with is essentially tailored to you versus how it used to be us coming together for something that was tailored for a mass audience.
Right, right.
And like I said, there's a big like there's a couple ways we can go about it. Let me make a couple quick points and I'll let you take it to wherever you want to go after this, because it's a couple big subjects. One, the problem is you're getting shorter seasons now, so you're not getting quality time. You're not getting quality time with characters. The breaks in between seasons are so long. Like you'd be watching, oh, I forgot what happened. Well, how can you really forget? How can you really remember it being strongly when it was only a 10 episode season that you saw last
You
year?
could
You
binge
know,
in 2 days.
that's the thing. Netflix, we all know they say it's a month. Realistically, they're looking at that first night because Netflix wants you to binge, which now means you've changed how you're enjoying the content. It's no longer, okay, let me check out this episode this week, spend a week with that episode, talking about it, interacting, whatever it may be, and then catch the next episode next week and repeat. Now it's Netflix wants you to binge all 10 episodes of a season in one night,
At
and that's what
one.
they're viewing as a success.
And let me just speak into that right quick. I think one show that does it on Peacock very well, that gave me such an essence of what I grew up feeling, was Love Island. Love Island used to come on Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. Wednesday night, it did not come on. It'd be back on Thursday and Friday. And then they do like a behind the scene episode on Saturday.
Mhm.
Bam. That's exactly, and it reminded me so much of what television was like because it gave you breaks. It didn't give you all the episodes at once. It made you wait for it. It made you sit with it. Even if the sit was just a 24-hour sit, it still allowed you to sit with it. Like I thoroughly enjoyed feeling that way again because I couldn't binge it. I could not binge it, which greater enough allowed conversations to be had about it. Like maybe we don't do a model. I mean, even if we did the week to week model, that's still fine. The week to week model works. We've seen it work for years, decades. And it puts so much buzz into the minds of the audience.
Well, it's not just the week to week model because there are a good amount of shows, even in these limited seasons, they were releasing week to week. It's what I said, length of season is a problem too. Because like there's no reason why literally the shows being rerun on television now are the same ones essentially being heavily rerun when I was a child or early 2000s. Let's put early 2000s. After school, I loved catching reruns of Fresh Prince. I loved
Or
catching reruns of The Cosby Show. If I go to catch some reruns today and turn on my cable, it's Cosby Show, Different World, Fresh Prince. Like it's the same shows. Why? Well, because there's so many of them. You could only replay a 10 episode season. You don't even get through the day.
nah, you could,
You can
yeah, right,
rerun literally Cosby Show, a marathon, and it'll take you 2 days to get through every because again that show's only 30 minutes. It could take you like 2 days to get through every episode of, and you're talking 7 seasons. Cosby was seven, right? 7 seasons,
right.
maybe eight of 20. Like so, right? Let's do them right there. That's 200 episodes to enjoy with these characters and these stories. And now, if a show gets to 5 seasons now, that's
Oh, that's
spectacular.
impressive.
But that's only 50 episodes. So you're literally building universes and worlds for creativity and ideas and time to spend with these characters that is literally at a fourth of the amount that we were getting with stuff back in the day. And like I said, and add on top of it, now that there's so many different options, we don't need to agree on anything. You can watch your stuff, I can watch my stuff. Versus when you had the mainstream back in the day, yeah, Thursday night back when Cosby was airing was Cosby's night. Like everybody was going to NBC to watch the Cosby and then Different World back to back. TGIF as a kid on ABC was the thing. You're talking Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Step by Step, like all these shows that were like you want like that brought everybody to watch and it was an experience versus okay, I'm gonna stream this on a random Tuesday because I got time. No, that
Right,
thank God
right.
it's Friday. Came 8 o'clock. We were all, if that's what you were watching, we were all watching that. And so there's something in that experience of we are all taking this in at the same time. That's kind of why the Super Bowl is still a major thing because it's one of the few things that's like if you don't catch it now and here,
You
it's
ain't gonna.
gone. And then we couldn't go to YouTube to watch clips. Like now, like yeah, I don't need to. I can watch the clips on YouTube right after, or it's gonna be on. Like the entire dynamic has killed the experience, and we're seeing that there is no successful show that's like, oh my god, everybody is watching this now. That
Nah.
doesn't happen now. Even with something like Game of Thrones,
You
that
get
still hasn't masked to the point where it's like this is it.
Yeah, everybody has seen this. It's not that, and it's but you got to think, is that even the game plan anymore to have everybody watching it?
Well, see, it's that inevitable argument of what do we want, what do they want? You know, consumers versus the sellers. They
Right.
don't care what you watch as long as you signed up to watch. As long as you,
Exactly.
and
Netflix does not. That's the best. That's the thing
Netflix
with
don't
for
care.
real, for real.
Netflix doesn't
They
care
already got their money. They don't care if you're watching them shows or not.
because unfortunately, that's where the magic of advertising came in. You need to care if people watch the show because it's the ads that funded the show
Joe,
or made things happen.
right.
Nowadays, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get that subscription money for you. And now, as we see, I'm gonna throw some ads on it on top of that, which are because we just gonna get all this stuff because they keep raising prices and all that. It's like the streaming has literally killed, has killed,
Oh, definitely.
and 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 it's a shame because it used to be something special. Oh, we gotta talk about last night's episode, going to school the next day, or whatever it may be, and seeing these things populate outside of just the box, like TV got covers, interviews on channel. Like it used to be a
Right.
whole cycle, and it's really a shame. Like it's not enjoyable because I think part of the enjoyable thing is, yeah, we're all watching this, we all enjoy it. Versus, like, yeah, there's those nice things. Okay, yep, I find this and I enjoy it, but it's something in that shared experience, and streaming has killed that. We you don't you, It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, yeah, I mean that's point blank period. Streaming has like truly destroyed what cable television is. And unfortunately, unless Gen Alpha just has grandparents who still has cable television, they'll never enjoy the beauty, even on kids' television.
Oh, it,
Disney Channel, waiting for a specific episode of a new show, whether that was like Jesse or newer shows or whatever. We know it'd be a new episode, and they would play clips of it the whole week.
prime
So we
time
would
doesn't
be
exist anymore. Like, with Gen Alpha, because my son is Gen Alpha, he can't stand watching stuff on regular TV. Why? Because he likes to rewind, fast forward, switch whenever he pleases. He can't do that on TV. And like I said,
understand
we be
the
watching
true pleasure of how quick you got to move to go get that snack during the commercial break.
commercial, not a snack. Commercials was the time to get things done.
Real fast.
You had to wash the dishes. You had to mop the floor, clean the bathroom. Mama asked you to do something. I'll get to that.
All within
That
the
commercial
commercial break.
was like you had to in your head know what 60 seconds was or 90 seconds. Cause yeah, I run because yeah, open concept houses, those one of the things. Living room and kitchen were separate. So no, I commercial, cool, bam, I got 60 seconds. What can I bust out real quick and then make sure I'm back in front of the TV so I don't miss
By the time
something?
the FTV come back on.
Because if you miss something, you missed it. You couldn't rewind it.
Right. What no going back. You've missed it, and you got to try to use them context clues to figure out what did I just miss.
Like,
I mean, it used to be so good for me because I used to love, well, I still do love watching it, and that's wrestling. The commercial break in wrestling was crucial, especially if they had like a mid-match commercial break and I need to go do something. If I miss what happens, even if it's wrestling, things happen fast. If it's 30 seconds of that wrestling match I've missed, I could miss the ending of the wrestling match that fast.
and depending on the show or time of day of the show, the commercials were actually something you wanted to watch. Y'all, like,
Let's
you
not
ever
talk
watch any of
about
them old
that.
throwback like any of them throwback, like looking back at 90s content or 2000s content or 80s content? What, like, or year in review, whatever. One of the biggest things they always talk about is there were commercials that blew up. You don't have those nowadays. When's the last
Like
time you
commercial
really had a
jingles getting
commercial?
stuck in your head is one of the best parts of my childhood. I
Jingles,
am so
taglines.
on Band-Aid breakers, Band-Aid stuck on me.
We all know, or you don't know because you weren't around back then, but the what like that commercial, there was no internet for it to break. I mean, there was, but it wasn't what it was. But that
Right.
literally broke like a commercial. You're not gonna have no commercial nowadays get popular like that.
See what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing how I'm able to go up to a certain group of people and be like, call JG Whitworth, and they can say 877
Some
cash.
cash now.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a beauty in that. YouTube ads ain't the same. Don't nobody care about them YouTube ads.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
But a commercial, it was, I mean, that's why it's still such a big part. I mean, I think Gen Alpha is going to have a very difficult time appreciating Super Bowl commercials.
They don't care now. Y'all, your generation doesn't care now.
Oh, no, no, no. Maybe not the majority.
The majority,
But me
not
and
you,
my friend
but
group, the ones I grew up around,
no,
we cared about a Super
it's
Bowl
known
commercial. We
Gen Z.
talked about it.
It's known Gen Z doesn't care because that's why a lot of these sports leagues right now are trying to make changes to get y'all to actually watch the stuff because y'all aren't watching. Y'all don't.
I love a good Super
Y'all
Bowl commercial.
that experience doesn't mean anything to y'all. Versus versus us, like a prime time Jordan national game. Like national used to mean something.
That part.
Like national, and like I said, and that's not just in sports because different networks air things, like different regions air things at different times. So national meant something. It was like, oh, okay, this is important. You don't even have that emphasis now because it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch my favorite team even if I'm not in their area because I have the ability to via any one of these streaming platforms or packages or whatnot.
Like, they don't know the importance of 7 or like saying 4 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. The translation of the time to know, yeah, say 4 p.m. or whatever, that means 7 over here. I need to be in front of that couch so we all can consume it at the same time.
Hell, spoilers have always been a thing, but now it's like because yeah, things would air 8 p.m. Eastern time, which means it's 5 p.m. Western time. It wasn't unless it was something national and live. It wasn't airing at 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It would air at 8 p.m. on the West Coast, which is of course 11 p.m. here. You get that dual airing.
Right,
But
right.
if you were the behind one, you didn't have to worry about spoilers like that because you ain't have the internet and all that kind of, unless somebody was calling you from the East Coast who had just watched it to tell you about it. You didn't have to avoid spoilers like that on the day of because your environment, we're all here versus now online. I'm interacting with people all over the place. And yeah,
And I'm telling you, like, this whole thing and this whole mindset of binging, you finish the whole season before I've even seen the trailer telling me it's a new season. It's scary.
it doesn't allow like, and granted, it's not all bad. Like streaming has allowed for a lot of niche stories, smaller story. Like it's allowed
It
a lot of
definitely has
I
helped out
think
the industry in the point of view of individuals who would never get those opportunities.
right or stories because it's like okay, yeah, we've seen more black stories, more Hispanic stories, more
Most definitely.
AAPI story. Like there is a benefit here into the highway becoming wider, so more stories can be told. Unfortunately, those things just don't hit the same
You know.
mass and frequency that they used to when we all had to be concentrated on this 2-lane road or whatever it may be to now we're on this 16-lane highway. It's like, yeah, you can be all the way over there doing your own thing and we speak in two different languages.
No, seriously, it's very interesting to see. Like, does it get better? Does it become more refined? Do they really truly find that sweet spot?
And then y'all wonder why y'all ish don't like y'all really be wondering why we hold things in the past in such regard. Now that's always been the case. Every generation
Right.
holds their time in regard. And it used to be okay, we can battle gen for gen, and it's literally okay, that's pretty similar just based off experience. Now it's like, yeah, y'all experience is so completely different. It's like y'all ain't touching this in any way, shape, or form.
I'm telling you, it's like things have like that Bird Box effect. I remember when Bird Box came out on Netflix.
I do, yeah.
Uh, the thing is, I didn't watch it. When it first I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a new movie, Jennifer Aniston in the movie. Okay.
When that was Sandra Bullock.
And then all of a sudden, you started seeing this people talking about it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go watch it. I see people talking about it. And then you go and watch the movie. The conspiracy behind that is people say that whoever like made the movie just is making a bunch of spam accounts of people talking about it and not ever actually seeing it. And that was the way to get people to go watch the movie because nobody actually cared to watch the movie until they watched the movie.
Y'all don't know what's real in this day and age, and I feel sad for you. It's Y and Z, a conversation between the generations. We're gonna go ahead and get to this generational battle for this week. We're gonna have some fun. Top five, since we've been talking about TV and cable back in the day, we're gonna go top. Who can put together the top five channel list? And we want to talk about channels. We're talking ABC, Fox, HGTV, comedy, whatever it may be. We're gonna see who can put together the top five list. So, um, should I let you go first here, sir, or should I?
You can let me go first. I'm gonna pick a nostalgic one. It's because it's a huge part of my childhood. I think it'd be remiss for me not to put it on my list, and that's Disney Channel. I
Okay,
mean,
you can have that. You can have that.
yeah, Disney Channel is amazing to my childhood, man. I'll never forget, like, the biggest hype. I mean, going to the movies wasn't a big part of my childhood. But a Disney Channel original movie, same feel. I'm gonna get that popcorn ready. All these different things, new shows, all that kind of stuff. Disney Channel is a huge part of my child. And then we had like the Radio Disney Music Award. It was a whole
You
thing.
you had the Disney post my number one choice era. Um, and that was Disney actually becoming a part of cable that's included. Because back when we talked about this before, when I was being raised, Disney was not included in cable. That was an extra channel you had to pay for, and Mr. and Mrs. Clark were not paying for that. My number one is Nickelodeon. When you talk about like channels that redefine and define new, like they literally created TV programming for kids. And this is how we, market it. We put it out there. Like undefeatable slate of shows. Everything from Nick Arcade, Legends of the Hidden Temple, all that, Clarissa, Rugrats, Doug, Ren and Stick, like on and on. On and on. Like what greatest one of the things that made growing up in the 90s as a kid incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible. So
I gotta
Nickelodeon.
give you that one. That's a great one. And then I guess another throwback nostalgic one has to be to go alongside that. I mean, of course, Nickelodeon would have been my number two, but of course, Cartoon Network has also got to go up there
You
for
can
me
have that.
too.
You can have that.
Cartoon Network is like we said, it was it cartoon. And let's be honest, if we're just being really real, Nickelodeon had cartoon for children. Cartoon Network was really cartoons for adults, but it was so crafted in a way. The adult jokes were so subliminal that kids could still laugh along to it, but we would never know the true meaning of it.
No, so here's where I gotta push back on you. You ever watch go back and watch Rocco's Modern Life. Go back and watch even Rugrats. Duh, like nah, there was adult things being slipped in there or references that as a kid, but I'm like, oh, that's what that was. I catch that now. So now you can't have that because now Nickelodeon was not maybe to the same amount or level as Cartoon Network, but now Nickelodeon was definitely on there first. There are some jokes and things being made, especially with the show like Rocco's Modern Life, that would,
Almost definitely Rocco's, yeah.
yeah. So
But to me, Cartoon Network just had it more in mass than Nickelodeon did.
anywho, number two, this might be a little shocking. BET. BET,
Really?
when BET, see, you used to rerun BET. I
This is
know
true?
original programming BET when you had, Black News at Night, news at night,
Oh
106 in
no.
Park, actual programming on BET because BET was the black channel. Like that, it was the one. And there is something special about that. And so yeah, original content, not Perry, Tyler Perry original content. We talking BET when BET would actually represent us and showcase a variety of stuff. Nobody's saying it was perfect, but BET back in the day, yes, sir.
I gotta go here for modern day purposes because, granted, I think this is a television channel that allowed for DC television to be better than Marvel television, and it's because they gave them a lane to, and that's the CW. Now I know I hate to put it, but the CW gave me a great show in The Flash. I
Great is a
love
strong word. Great is a strong word.
I love it. It's a it's not the best DC show ever. good, yes.
And this
But
and this is coming from somebody who loves Smallville. So I understand what CW was.
oh yeah, okay.
But
So you know,
no,
okay, you like Smallville. Okay. The
yeah,
CW, I think it opened up a lane for some developmental television. Not the greatest television you'll ever watch, but it's making an effort.
okay. Number three for me, I gotta go NBC.
NBC.
And
Mm.
NBC is responsible, just off top, Cosby Show, Fresh Prince,
Mhm.
and Different World. Like NBC Comedy Thursdays, like so it's specifically with like black sitcoms and some of the biggest ones. And because I think Good Times was like CBS and some other ones, but like NBC, when you think of some of the creme de la creme of black sitcoms, for example, yeah.
I wanna I wanna say a TV show. Oh, yep, okay. This is definitely what I want to go next.
Number four, okay.
Number four is Fox.
Oh, I had
I'm gonna tell you one show. The reason why I love Fox, Bob's Burgers.
not where I thought you were going. I wanted to pick Fox, but I also have a problem with Fox outside of Fox News. Fox as a network came up in the 90s, but they pimped out black content to do it. Fox is where we get
Correct.
Martin. Fox is where we get In Living Color, and but as was the story with many of these networks during the 90s, they would go super black at first,
And then just kind of,
and once it's built up,
yes,
peace
sir.
out. So okay, I'll let you have Fox. That was your number four. For me, number four. Ooh. Um, because of what it used to be, UPN.
Really?
At the turn of the 2000s, UPN was that spot because you're getting girlfriends, you're getting Moesha, you're getting the Parkers, and then I was also getting on UPN before I switched over Star Trek. UPN was a interesting. UPN will also have wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah,
Right, right.
UPN.
Okay, my last pick got to be this one. I think most of still quality television that you can watch week from week kind of still comes from this network, and that has to be ABC. Um, I think people love the Chicago series. They love 911. All of these still shows that you can watch week from week in mass probably comes from ABCs. And I grew up loving to watch things on ABC, very, very much so. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. ABC
The
brought up.
older I got, especially like those formative teenage years, that's when I started moving from watching like Disney Channel to start watching ABC and start watching more adult shows, but not necessarily were like super adult, if that makes sense.
ABC gave us TGIF and Damn You, because yeah, that was gonna be my number five. I will go then MTV. Just because
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
what it used to be actually a place for music. They would show music videos,
Yep.
TRL. Like it was the place. They brought us spring break. Whew, yes. There was no business of that stuff being on TV. Yeah, and as a young adolescent boy, wonderful stuff to watch. But yeah, MTV again, when we talk about entertainment and culture things, like it was the place to understand what the mainstream was.
Definitely.
Let us know who got the biggest top five or the best top five. I'm gonna post them up. Let us know. It's been Y and Z conversation between the generations. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Jay Clark 787, the real Xavier Lewis, YZ the Divide. You did okay this week, bro.
Oh
You showed your
yeah.
age. You showed your age
I
though,
ain't have much to argue. We similar on these topics.
but you showed your age. It's okay. It's what y'all do. Until next time.
Peace.